Well, we're going to take a unique look at President Obama's first 100 days through the lens of Chief Official White House photographer Pete Souza. He joins us now from the White House with some never before seen photos. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Julie. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. I love your work. Let's talk about the stories behind some of these great photographs, starting with the one of President Obama with his family in his private study. What do you remember about what was going on at that moment?
I think Mrs. Obama and the girls had come over to surprise the president. This was early in the administration, I think the first week of February, and he was working in his private study, and so they walked into the study and surprised him.
And how do you know if you can tag along? Like, did she say, hey, come with me, or how'd that come about?
I'm usually hanging around the Oval Office, either just outside the office, and I saw them coming, so I just followed them in.
And what a great opportunity. All right, what about the photograph where President Obama, he's embracing the First Lady in what looks like the Red Room. He's got a big smile on his face as others are looking on. What was happening there?
That was before an event in the White House State floor, and Mrs. Obama had already arrived. And so when he showed up, he just, gave her a hug, put his arms around her. I think you see a lot in their relationship in this photograph.
It's very sweet. It's a sweet moment. I especially love the photo that you took of Caroline Kennedy in the Oval Office, and President Obama is crawling on the floor. It looks like a reenactment of when President Kennedy was in office. How did this photo come about?
The president had this meeting with Caroline, and when she walked into the Oval Office, they started talking about the desk. And I think the president, in the back of his mind, remembered that famous Stanley Tredick photo of John Kennedy crawling out from underneath the desk. There was a trap door there, and the door is now locked, and the president was looking to see if there was a way to open that door.
Oh, and he doesn't, he knew you were clicking away, right? He didn't mind?
He's kind of oblivious to my presence. I'm not blasting away with motor drives and flashes, so I try to be quite discreet, and I think he's used to me being around.
Which sounds like the key, because I've noticed that you've captured some very private-looking moments of the president, like the one where President Obama is in what looks like maybe a cabinet meeting. He looks deep in thought. Rahm Emanuel's in the foreground. I think that's David Axelrod in the background. What was going on in this meeting and at that moment?
He's been holding a lot of economic meetings in the Roosevelt Room. This is actually in the Roosevelt Room, not the Cabinet Room,
okay,
which is right across from the Oval Office. And, so you see a range of emotions during those meetings, and I'm trying to capture that.
In the final moments, you were also the official White House photographer during the Reagan administration. What similarities, or differences for that matter, have you noticed between the two?
It's a completely different time. I mean, the President Reagan was almost 50 years older than me when I was a junior White House photographer back in the 80s. I like to tell people I was 12 at the time. And, and now I'm photographing a president that I'm a little bit older than. He's got a young family. It's just completely different.
Well, they both look very comfortable in the Oval Office, and thank you for your great work in capturing all those moments. Pete Souza, thanks.
Thanks for having me on, and just to let your viewers know that we will be releasing a slideshow on whitehouse.gov later today.
All right, we'll be looking. Thanks again, Pete Souza.